couple of other things, Brian. Sergei Fedorov has a hearing Monday, right?
We're going to schedule a hearing Monday. It'll be either later Monday or Tuesday. It depends on when I can get the tapes to the NHLPA.
He hit Jason Marshall of the Anaheim Mighty Ducks from behind, so it's at least 2 games. Scotty Bowman said he felt blindsided by the news coming this morning at 10 when, in fact, the hit was last Thursday. What's your response to that?
Well, the problem is Scotty can be flabbergasted all he wants. I mean, I deal with the general manager on topics like this. I was traveling this week. We had a busy week. We got the tape to me, and I looked at it. I told Kenny Holland yesterday that the timing would be that I would rule on this morning and reach him at home, which I did. And if the coach of the Detroit Red Wings wasn't aware of that or is flabbergasted by that, that's too bad. I deal on discipline matters with the GM.
On Brendan Shanahan, then, very nasty hit. Sergei Fedorov on Jason Marshall, and Barry Marshall's had back-to-back rough nights.
Actually, this was a very scary moment in the game. You see Sergei Fedorov hit from behind. Marshall goes in there, and it looked very serious when this thing first happened. Fedorov, of course, gets extra attention because of that. Marshall luckily gets up. He's not hurt. Fedorov goes to the penalty box. He only gets a 4-minute penalty, which I thought was very lucky.
Mike Pekka's situation is the same. Why not rule on it when you see the tape? Why wait until having the hearing?
Well, first of all, the NHLPA is involved in all the hearings, so I have to get them the tape and set the hearing up. So it's very hard to do the hearing where a situation where I'm on the road and I'm getting tape sent to me by satellite or fiber optic feed, and then get it back to Toronto and schedule a hearing. So that's problem number 1. Problem number 2 is, in this case with a head injury, we have an opportunity to buy a couple days and determine the full extent of the injury. That's a problem that we've had in the past with head injuries, and we said after the last one, in the Paul Kariya case, where I was told he would miss 1 and maybe 2 games, and he ended up obviously missing a ton of games, maybe it makes sense to drag it out a bit, not to the detriment of the other player involved, Mike Pekka, but if it's going to be worth 2 games anyway, which this clearly is, then we can get a better read on the extent of the injury to Matthias Olin.
Yeah, now that's an interesting, I hate to drag this out, but that's a really interesting point you raised, because Pekka's sitting in a situation now where he's going to miss 2 at least. When you look at this hit, you may say to yourself it's not worth a suspension at all.
What, this hit?
Yeah, Pekka, on Oland. You think it's definitely a 2-game minimum?
Well, why would I have given him 2 games if I didn't think it was a 2-game minimum, Ron? I think this is a very dangerous play. He leaves his feet. The blow is clearly with an elbow, and it's a very hard hit. The player, who's much bigger than Mike Pekka, is knocked senseless and unconscious, basically. He's got a concussion. I don't know how anyone could quarrel with this being a suspension.
Well, unless you didn't think it was an elbow to the head, and that's
I think that's clear on the tape. I think it's very clear on the tape.
Kind of roaring along here, but
all right, gotta hurry.
It's beautiful. We got some clips, so let's run right into it. Mike Pekka, what do you think of this hit?
Mike Pekka.
Matthias Oland, he's already got 2 games.
2
so
games.
Going to a hearing
Harry Neal says, I gotta hurry, I gotta talk over. Harry Neal says outlaw body check, and if this isn't a body check, he's already got 2 games. Watch him cut across, guys. He shouldn't get nailed like that. I tell you, a little closer, look. Head down, the guy, what is he supposed to do? He guy should be knocked out like that, stupid like that for 20 feet with his head down. Pekka's a good guy. He's from Mississauga, you know.
He and Fedorov both got a hearing coming. Yeah, that's the only thing that he did
games.
went off, but I agree with you. That'd be maximum.